Mr. Transformers 96 here with another video review. This time we have a double review featuring the Transformers Studio Series Age of Extinction number 11 and number 17, which is Lockdown and Shadow Rider. So I'm going to be doing a double review on these two, considering they're basically the same sculpt. There's just a few new pieces with the Shadow Rider figure and a different color scheme. So I'm going to be doing a review of the two of them together here. The Shadow Rider is a really new figure. I was able to find the new series out at Target, so I would recommend going out to Target to hunt down that series if you're interested. But going over the packaging on these two is extremely similar. Even the artwork is just about the same. Because this one, he doesn't come with the gun. This figure doesn't even come with the gun, but he does have like the gun pictured there. The head sculpts are obviously different, and then they've added a little orange on the artwork on this one. The backdrop that comes with it is the same on both figures. On the side, nice little image, and then on the back you can see the photos of the actual figures, and then the series that they come in. I will say, if you're wondering who Shadow Rider is, I'm getting a lot of people saying that they don't know who Shadow Rider is, and I'm seeing a lot of people claim that it's like one of Lockdown's drones, you know, like one of his soldiers, essentially. That I don't believe that's the case. Now, I've seen a picture of one of Lockdown's drones that is like, it has some orange on it, and the feet are identical because they have like Lockdown's feet, but from the waist up, they're completely different from Lockdown. They're completely different. And you might say, well, maybe that's like Lockdown Cybertronian mode. It's kind of Lockdown without the Lamborghini parts, but the figure has the Lamborghini parts. So I don't consider it one of Lockdown's drones at all. I know a lot of people say it is. It isn't. You know, I just have to say it's completely. It's just a way of them giving us the same figure again, but with a different head and different head sculpt, basically. So let's go into the Lamborghinis now that we have them in the car mode. So overall, the car modes I absolutely love, especially when it comes to the Lockdown figure himself. I think that this is a fantastic representation of the Lamborghini Aventador. Just looks really great. From the back, signature Lamborghini look. It's very clear it's a Lamborghini just from any angle, which is very nice. It does capture the look of the actual car, I believe so. And then color-wise, I think it's fantastic. It has this kind of, it has like this silverish, like a dark charcoal silver almost, but it has like the sparkled effect to it, which just makes it look so cool and so realistic. Almost like it's a realistic paint job, which just looks really cool. Comparing it to the old Lockdown, the one that actually came out for for Age of Extinction. It's like this like really dark, kind of in between a gray and a brown. It's weird, and then all the windows are all blue, and the windows from the sides are open. It kind of is more of a mess. I like the transformation because it's so easy, but just comparing it color-wise, this one is so much better, and then just the size, this one is much larger too. So you do have absolutely a larger scale here when it comes to the new one, which is more accurate because this one was just way too small. So here it is from the bottom, here it is from the bottom. And this one, when you have the chest popped in, the wheels have full motion. It rolls really nicely. Same thing with this one. It does look nice. I'm not a big fan of orange in general, and you know, this is a flat orange. It doesn't have this kind of pearl-like effect to it. So the color scheme is just much more dull on this one. Also, the windows aren't tinted. They're like just a clear, so you can see inside of them. So you can see some robot pieces. You can see some holes in there. It's so much less impressive this way. This way, just like it's so much more impressive because with the like tinted windows, you can't see in, so you can't see the robot parts very much at all. So I think that this is an absolute one of the best vehicle modes I've ever seen for a Transformer. This one, it's the same thing, but the paint just makes such a big difference because it's not as good this way. As far as colors that they could have chose to go with, I think doing something that was red or green, considering Lockdown has some like green pieces on him, I think green would have fit better. Orange just doesn't really fit in my opinion personally. So let's transform them. I will say this I'm only going to show the transformation for one of these. There's just no point in doing both of them considering they are the same transformation. So I'm just going to transform Shadow Rider. So basically how you want to start is you want to pop the side windows, the side doors open basically. You kind of just swing them out like this. I'll do the same on this side. Swing them out just like this, which should allow you to be able to start flipping up a portion of the front section here. There we go. Just detach that, and then that allows you to rise it a little bit. There we go. And then from the side here, you want to pop just the back shell off, essentially, and then split it. You can flip it up, flip these in. That just goes on top. You can really raise it and try to scooch that in, and that's his backpack piece. And then while you're at it, you can flip up the head. The head just rests back there. And then while you have the whole thing open, you want to just put your finger inside his chest and just pop out the chest piece. It just pops out a little bit. The only reason that it goes in is to give you clearance for the wheels. That's the only reason. So, yeah. Then with the arms at the bicep, you want to rotate it like this and flip up this little piece. Oops. Sorry. Like I was saying, here on the other side, you just rotate the bicep right there, and then you just flip up this little piece. It makes all the difference. With the arms then, you can kind of unattach them and then rotate the arms so that they're facing forward, of course. The legs pop open. This back piece unattaches from there, and then you can just swing the whole thing and then just prop it up. It doesn't tab in or anything, it just kind of props up there. And then you just swivel it at the bicep, or sorry, at the thigh. Same thing on this side, swivel it up. And then you can just fold the back piece as much as you can onto the actual body, and that's transformation. Very simple. It's really easy to transform him back to robot mode. It's a little more complicated to go to car mode, just because you have to attach a bunch of things, you know, Sorry about that, my camera ran out of space there, but here they both are, of course, transformed, and I have to say they both look really nice in robot mode. Just going over Lockdown, I'll go over to some of the differences with Shadow Raider here, but Lockdown I think looks great. One of the, you know, this is a figure that was in a desperate need of a redo. I'm considering the Age of Extinction one just does not cut it. In vehicle mode, like I mentioned, it's so much better. The new version is so much better, and the old version is still okay. Like, having this one, it blows it out of the water, but when you just had the original one, it was still an okay robot mode, vehicle mode. The Lamborghini was still nice. Now robot mode though, it left a lot to be desired. It has big panels on the arms that you can totally see like through the hands and everything. Yeah, his face isn't great. He almost looks like a bald version of Lockdown. Then the legs are very thin and very small, and he's just a short figure too, and he's got that brownish look to him. This new one, the paint is amazing. The extra detail is fantastic. A lot of this detail is just actually sculpted here. It's not actually from the car, but Age of Extinction is when the robot modes for the Transformers became a lot more non-making sense. It was more just kind of gibberish and not so much car parts, so I don't fault it too much for that. The car panels, the door panels on the arms are the only thing that's a little disappointing. From the side, it looks a little awkward, and from the front, you know, just having it attached with the little circle hands is a little cheap looking. The backpack, it doesn't hang down very far. Like, from you're looking at it from the front, it's not too bad. From the side, it does extend quite a bit. The backpack is more compact on the original one, however, it extends down quite far, so there are trade-offs there. But in general, the new version is just so much better, especially just from a detail standpoint. It just looks a lot better. And I do like the bulkier legs too, as you can see. The extra like back panels on the legs just give more bulk to it and just a little more dimension. There's actually some car parts on the legs too, which I think just looks a lot better. Going over the head sculpt, which is my favorite part of the figure, because that head sculpt is terrific. It really is, as you can see. Totally representing Lockdown from Age of Extinction. I think the head sculpt is wonderful. Don't really see any issue with it whatsoever. I'm saying these head sculpts for the new Studio Series figures are just spot on. They really are. They're great. So I'm very happy with that. I think it looks excellent. And then just the detail throughout the figure is quite tremendous, I must admit. So I'm a big fan of this Lockdown figure. I think it's very nice. Going over Shadow Raider here. He's very cool. I like the black on him. I think that the really kind of dark black or really dark gray black-ish look is very cool, and it mixes with the orange nicely, but the orange is just obnoxious. It's just a little too bright for me. I would have preferred green, like a dark green, something like that. I think that would just fit Lockdown a little bit better than orange. I'm tempted to repaint this myself. I think I actually probably will repaint it, especially if I can get another one on a good sale or something. I'd definitely do a repaint because it's such a nice figure, but the coloring is what kind of lets it down, which is a shame. But as far as his head sculpt, this is obviously like the Battle Mass version of Lockdown. I think it looks really nice. I like the way that it's attached, and then I do like the fact that the front little piece here does seem like it's that it's like a screen over the face and not something that's just sculpted onto the face. So I think that does look nice. And then the green inside is very cool. It almost looks like it's illuminating, which is nice. And then other than the head sculpts, the difference between these two figures is their accessories. The original one came with the knife piece. Both of these are accurate to the film. They're just from different parts, basically. So there is like a handle for him to hold, but he never actually holds it like a knife. That's more of a last night type of thing to do. But I do like it attached to the arm. It does look like he has like a knife coming out, and of course he does use it in the film. So that looks quite nice, especially from like this angle. I think that it looks very cool, and it does fit very nicely. The cooler accessory, in my opinion, though, is the gun. I think he uses the gun a bit more. It attaches in a more interesting manner. Like there's this little piece that plugs into his hand, but then there's this little hole, or sorry, this little tab that plugs into the side of the arm there. So it just fits in a little more secure, I think. There we go. And it feels like it's more a part of the arm because you can't really see the hand anymore. It seems like it's more like his hand transformed rather than the other one where it looks very much just like a tabbed on. So I think that looks very cool. Just the gun in general, I think, has a better presence to him. So I think that is very nice. And then I'm sure you're wondering if you can swap the parts. Yes, you can. So let me show you how that looks on the regular Lockdown figure. So here's a Lockdown figure with the Shadow Raider figure's head and weapon with his pieces. And as you can see, it does look very nice. Now the colors aren't perfectly matching, of course. They're more of a black or a really like dark charcoal gray, while this has more of a grayish silver kind of pearlescent type of look, the regular Lockdown figure. But they're close enough. They're in the same like range of color that they fit very nicely. And considering one's a battle mask and one's a weapon, they can be a little different in color from the rest of the figure. So overall, I do think it does look quite nice. But it just, you know, it's nice that you can switch them out. It just is, it's a shame that these weren't just accessories of Lockdown. That's certainly how this should have gone. It shouldn't have been an extra figure that you had to purchase or anything like that. But you can put these pieces on. You can also put Lockdown's pieces on Shadow Rider, of course. It doesn't make much sense if you do that. But this way it makes a little bit more sense. So overall, I think that both of these figures are great, especially the regular Lockdown figure, obviously, considering he's a bigger character. He's the main villain, or the main antagonist of Age of Extinction, and it's just such a big upgrade from the original one that came out. It was something that was desperately needed. My only issue with it is it's not in a good scale, and the Studio Series has been really trying to make things in scale, and this one doesn't fit very well. He should be a Voyager. Even if he's a little bit of a smaller Voyager, that would be fine. This as a Deluxe, I mean, it works. It's certainly bigger than the last Deluxe, but it's not big enough, considering we don't see Lockdown with very many Transformer characters in the film, but we see him with Optimus Prime quite a bit, especially in their big battle, and he's just a little bit smaller than Optimus Prime. He shouldn't be in a different scale than Optimus Prime. I'm okay with them making like a smaller Voyager version of him, but he should be a Voyager, because he needs to scale up with Optimus Prime if you want to do some cool poses of the two of them fighting, considering that's Lockdown's big fight in the movie, and that's probably my favorite single like combat fight of any of the Transformers movies. Personally, I really enjoy that Lockdown battle, even though Age of Extinction is not a Transformers film that I particularly love. That's just a fantastic scene from it. So overall, this figure I think is great. It's a fantastic upgrade from the last one. I love the new Lamborghini mode, and I love the new robot mode. I just wish it was in a little bit bigger scale. Shadow Raider is a nice like kind of upgrade. The battle mask and the gun weapon are really necessary accessories for Lockdown. Both of those should have just been included with this Lockdown figure, especially like if they made him a Voyager but made him a little bit small and then gave him like a few accessories, like gave him 4 accessories, 2 heads, 2 weapons. That would just make the figure a little bit more worth it then too. It would have been perfect. But anyway, having those accessories just be kind of included in like a secondary release where they just name them something else, and you can kind of picture him as, Lockdown's drones or something, even though he doesn't really look like a drone and he's just basically Lockdown. It's kind of a mess. I'm not a big fan of it. I'd much rather just repaint it myself and make it just another version of Lockdown, but with a different weapon and the battle mask on, basically. So overall, I think there's a better way to do this. However, I am very happy with both of these. If you have the Lockdown figure, you don't need the Shadow Raider one. That's only if you really want those 2 new accessories, and personally, I was never planning on getting that figure, but seeing it in person, it actually looked really nice, and I like the kind of darker charcoal gray color scheme or black color scheme. I think looked really cool, so that caught my attention, and that got me to purchase the item. But overall, both of these are great. Lockdown, I highly recommend. Shadow Raider is just recommended for those of you who really like the new pieces, or just really are in love with the original sculpt of the new Lockdown figure. So there, guys, my very review of both the Studio Series Lockdown and the Studio Series Shadow Raider. Let me know what you guys think of the two of these, and thanks so much for watching.